This is Kent Dilling with Fertilizer Dealer Supply, and Woody is the manager at the Ohio location. We're continuing the programming of an SCS450. The preliminary questions are answered. The boom cows calibration's in on this. Woody, let's go ahead and continue on with programming the additional steps until this console is ready to apply.
Okay, so again, we were working on calibrating this for a 28 applicator. So we have to keep that in mind as we go forward. We will discuss other applications in other segments. But you can see that we were on boom cow, it was lit up, we've got them all entered. So we're gonna go to our next button. Our next button, just by depressing it, will enter it light up as well. And it's asking for a speed cow. Speed cow, if you remember, we programmed in the initial for SP2 because we said we were either going to be a GPS input or a radar input. Most of the GPS units out there that you're going to be using, whether you're using a generic puck style that's just giving you speed or you're pulling it in from a GPS unit itself, are all going to have parameters to tell you where the initial setup should be. The unit that we have here today that I'm looking at says that our initial calibration for a Raven SCS console should be 595. So reading that out of their little manual, I'm going to do the same procedure here again. We want to enter. We're going to get our E, as you see on the screen, and then we're going to 595. Again, always pay attention to make sure we're not going to see a decimal place in there. Once we have that entered, we're going to be good. We can go ahead and hit enter. At this point in time, if we ever have to come back here because our speed is not accurate, again, as long as this button is lit up and we hit the enter button, we can re-enter anything we would like at this point in time. So again, because we need an initial 595, we're going to go ahead and enter and hit enter. The next setup going across the screen is going to be meter cow. Meter cow is a number given to us on our meter from Raven. They've already tested it at the facility and we have a cow number for that. So we do that by going to the out to the meter, and I'm going to show you one here on the screen. And you see on the tag, it gives us a meter cow number. That one that says gallons there is the number we're looking for. One thing to note here, if you have a gray sensor or you have a black sensor, the black sensor is going to be a lower number because it's a different technology. The gray sensor will be a higher one. So if we get to a point where you're seeing a black one and your number's a lot different than what we're programming, don't be alarmed. Go by what the tag says.
That year change was last year?
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yep, correct. So again, we're reading off of our tag. So we're going to hit our enter button. And we needed 1,440. Again, making sure there's no decimal places. We've got it entered, so we go ahead and hit our enter button, which is going to hold it for us, and then we can move on. The next one is going to be a valve cow. This one's an easy one when we're talking about liquid applicators because 90% of those are going to use a standard valve. A standard valve is going to be right on the tag of the valve, and it's going to tell you 2123. So again, enter, 2123, looking for no decimal place, and enter. We've now gotten that done. The next button we're going to move on to are two that you're going to have to help out with because you're going to know what your application rates are going to be. So because we're on a side dresser and I talked to the guy that wants to put on 50 gallons to the acre, I know that I need to enter 50.
There's your decimal you were talking about.
Correct.
Yeah.
So when that comes into play, it has to be an extra 0 so that it indicates exactly what we want in gallons. Again, we're good there. So we did enter. This console is going to allow you to have 2 rates pre-programmed. So our next one for rate 2. Now we want to keep that within a certain percentage. We don't want to see 50 gallons on rate 1 and 100 gallons on rate 2. So don't think that this console is going to like that. So again, this guy said his top end is 60. Again, you see that decimal place, so I got to enter the extra 0 and hit enter.
So Woody, what you just talked about was the limitation of the nozzle or the orifice that he's dealing with. If he had an anhydrous system or a granular system, that window would be a lot wider.
Correct.
Yeah, but
Yep.
for a liquid, 10 to 15% is about as big as a window, unless you had a variable rate orifice out there of some kind.
That's correct.
Yep.
And then you're going to see the last couple of numbers. We've already got our rate to pop up. So that's telling us that this console can go ahead and run.
And the cowl went away.
Correct.
Yeah, the cowl going away is universal for the fact that the program thinks it's totally or that it's calibrated.
Yep. So now our controls are going to be here for a master switch. And because if you remember in our initial boom cowl setup, we were doing 3. To turn those on, we got to have those 3 on as well. These will be dummy switches because we did not program them to have any boom swath in them. Now, a lot of people ask, well, why the 9 and the 0? The 9 is actually the volume of your tank. So if you truly wanted to know tank and you knew as precise, say our applicator holds 1,000 gallons, we could, if we wanted, come over, hit our enter button, hit our 1000 and hit enter, and it would count down as we went. This button does not do anything to our accuracy. It does not do anything to how far we're going, all that. This is nearly just an indicator for tank volume. And of course time, if for some reason we're data logging, that button would come into play, but for a normal side dress unit, we don't even mess with the 0 button.
So Woody, we've programmed this. This is ready to apply on a liquid applicator.
That's correct. We're ready to go to the field.
Stay tuned. We're going to do calibration for granular as well as anhydrous. Thanks.